Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Chesnaught in the Great League Remix Cup. This Pokemon is actually going to be very interesting as you're going to be able to beat both Mud Boys as well as those normal type Pokemon like Dubwool or the Vigoroth, which we already saw in the lead. Also, we're going to have here the Probopass on this team, which is a Pokemon that you rarely really see because it is basically just a slightly worse Bastion, but actually has quite a lot of play in this meta as well. And it was a lot of fun to play this Pokemon. Honestly, you see already how strong this Pokemon can be. It just takes a lot of hits, and you can still hit back with Spark as well as like Rock Slide. We're also running Zapkin on this Pokemon to debuff especially Cresselia. And as our say swap here, we're going to have Drapion, which should be able to get out those ground type Pokemon while still punishing them with Crunch. And as you can see here, Drapion going to be able to farm down the Galvantula as well. In comes the Vigoroth, we can snipe them here with our good friend Chesnaught, and boom, goodbye there. And in comes now the Dedenne, which we're going to be able to hit with one Frenzy Plant as well. And Chesnaught is a very strong Pokemon. This team can struggle a little bit against other fighting type Pokemon, to be fair. So definitely be aware of that. It would be better if you run the Carbink in the back. Like, Carbink in the back kind of fixes all your issues that you have. I, of course, have my Carbink that I could use, but it's only level 40, and I know that a lot of people don't have this Pokemon. So I wanted to showcase an alternative, but definitely Carbink is a very decent alternative, or like even a better option than the Probopass in the back. Just to be sure here, definitely a good team if you have Carbink in the back. Here now, right now, it's a little bit tricky against some fighting type Pokemon. Otherwise, we're going to see here the Sandslash in the lead, and we're going to swap out at the same time, but I swapped into a Drapion while they swapped into their Cresselia. Usually I actually would go into my Probopass against the Cresselia, but maybe I actually shouldn't have done that, because the damage that we actually do with the Crunch here is wild, and everybody is running Future Sight. I already told you that basically in the video prior. I have no idea why. This is only a Grass Knot, by the way, so I'm not really too worried about this, but everybody is running Future Sight, which I feel is a little bit of a weird move. While yes, you're going to be able to be a little bit better against like poison type Pokemon like the Golbat, you're going to struggle quite a bit against something like the Scrafty now. Like, you cannot really hit Scrafty other with like the Grass Knot, and before you were just able to one-shot them. Speaking of one-shotting, this might one-shot me if it's a superpower. It is a Power Punch, which is actually worse even, which is great. Wow, nice. But yeah, here what's called the Buzzwole is a core breaker for the team for sure. Same goes for the Toxic Rogue. So definitely a little bit awkward with that. You're going to be better off if you have Carbink in the back. Like, this team was designed for Carbink in the back, to be fair. So definitely something that I would recommend here instead there. But yeah, let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have Toxapex in the lead. Maybe I should swap out earlier, to be fair. This was like one of the earlier games that I played with this team, so I usually would now swap out a little bit earlier into the Drapion, I think, especially to get out something like the Quagsire here. I will be able to go for the Crunch, and as you're going to see, that's going to put them into another Crunch range, which we're going to use as well here in order to try to get some shields from the opponent. Because if shields are down, both of my Pokemon in the back can go to town, as we can go for one Aqua Tail here right now. I'm gonna get the shield from the opponent. I can go use another shield here as well and get the final shield of my opponent as well, as I cannot swap out here. Like, I'm literally cannot swap out because, as you're going to see right now, I have of course a weakness still in the back against the Quagsire, and I'm basically forced to stay in here and let them knock me out. I can farm them down here, but no, they're going to swap out into their Toxapex, which can be a little bit of an issue, as we are now gonna go ahead and go for the Rock Slide against them most likely afterwards, because I kind of have to overfarm a little bit with the Spark, as they have already two Bryans here as well. I have to overfarm for sure, and I can go for the Rock Slide here at least, but can we farm down afterwards, because it's definitely not going to be enough to knock them out. Let's see, we can. And now I expect them to go back into the Quagsire, so I went blind for the Rock Slide. Turns out they go into a Surf Edge, and this is so bad for me, because I feel like the other move most likely would have knocked them out. But luckily they were deciding to swap out as well into their Quagsire, allowing me to go for a Frenzy Plant here with my Chesnaught and farm, like knocking out the opponent there. So good game there. Also against the fighting type we still were able to win. Speaking of fighting types, we have another one here in the lead, and we're going to see us swap out into the Cresselia. I'm going to overfarm by quite a bit, and I'm going to go into the Probopass. Probopass most likely not going to be able to really win this battle here, but you're going to not really want to have a Probopass against the Scrafty, I would say, right? So here we're going to still be able to resist the fast move, and Grass Knot is going to do some pretty decent damage, but especially after Zap Cannon, this damage should be not as big. Oh no, they don't get the debuff. Wow, that's kinda sad. Because otherwise we would have been able to survive two Grass Knots for sure. Like this, it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but they're luckily going to swap out for me into their Scrafty, which is going to be very very nice, as I can now overfarm by quite a bit and go for the superpower here, while having still a Frenzy Plant stored. The superpower going to knock them out, and in comes now a Pidgeot. That's going to be a tough one, because Pidgeot is now going to be able to get all the energy in the world here, and I can still at least go for another superpower and get them a little bit lower and put them into the awkward tail range with this one. But still, they have so much energy here right now that they're gonna go straight for the Feather Dance here anyway, but I cannot really risk it. So, like this, I'm gonna be able to go for the awkward tail at least. That's going to force a shield from the opponent. I have to try to catch a move here. I have to try to catch on the Probopass, and it works out like a charm. And this is going to be also the Feather Dance again, as they go for the Cresselia, allowing me to go for another Rock Slide here and getting them a little bit lower. This might be a play for me now to try to farm down afterwards, but they're going to even use their shield for whatever reason. This is so good for me now, as now I will be able to let this move go through. I still have my Drapion. I can no-shield this move because I know that I survive anything. It's going to be the future side again. For whatever reason, people still run this, and like this is going to be a good game. Honestly, still don't really understand future side too much on Cresselia. Again, it just like, I don't know, I don't really understand. But yeah, we're going to have here a Pidgeot coming in against our Probopass. This is ideal for us. We can go ahead and go for a Rock Slide. They're going to, of course, debuff us with Feather Dance first, so we don't do as much damage against them. But actually gonna go for the Zapkin here right now. Fairly certain that this does not knock them out yet. And as you see here, the attack drops from the opponent, which is going to be very nice as well. It's going to be a Brave Bird for sure. No, it's going to be another Feather Dance, so they kind of want to debuff me, I guess. I will be able to now farm them all the way down, but of course I'm at -4. They go for one charge move here, and I kind of want to keep the energy alive on my Probopass. So I'm going to swap out into my, into my Chesnaught here, going for the Frenzy Plant, going to be able to get the shield from the opponent. But sadly, they're going to have the Golbat in the back, and this is going to be a difficult one to come back from. I will be able to go for one Frenzy Plant here at least, and going to be able to get some damage onto them, but now I can at least go ahead and go into my Poison and Dark type, which is going to be able to resist both the Poison Fang as well as the Shadow Ball, but I'm still kind of forced to use a shield here right now. I can go for the Crunch, and now I have to hope that I can snipe them with my Probopass. As they're going to let this move go through, never mind, I don't have to snipe anybody here today. We can still go ahead and shield this move up here, maybe with our good friend the Drapion. I can go into my Probopass trying to get to those 2 Rock Slides. And I will be able to get to those because I am already at the second one. And this is going to put the opponent into crunch range right now. They might be even forced to throw against me here right now, which they would have been, but they don't throw, and this will allow us to sweep them endgame with the Probopass winning us this game. Very nice there. Honestly, Probopass was a lot of fun to play. This Pokemon is really, really cool. Dragon Elite. This is the cool thing about Chesnaught. You can just go to superpower and dip against a lot of Pokemon. So this is going to get you a shield, and this is going to give you already an advantage during the game, which is really nice to see. I'm going to use a shield here against the Boystem as well, because they could have found me down otherwise. And they're going to get in with their Vigoroth here. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue, as we are now going to be able to go for a Crunch. I'm still going to get to my next Crunch in time, but if I would shield here, I would not be able to knock out the opponent in time. I can at least go for my Crunch here right now. I should have let them get one more fast move through so we're a little bit lower, because we're actually going to be able to realign here, which is fairly decent for us, as the Dragonair is coming back in, and we can go ahead and go into our Probopass. While our fast move is resisted, of course our charge move is not, but of course their Awkward Tail is going to do some super effective damage against me, as I at least going to still be able to go for another Rock Slide. Their Dragon Breath is chunking a little bit of my health as well, but I can go ahead and use a shield against the opponent, as we're going to see them swapping out into a Dubwool. I have a move stored already. This might be it. Hopefully it's going to be enough for really getting here the victory later on, but the Dubwool is going to be able to go ahead and go for a charge move. I can go for the superpower. Does this do enough damage to knock off the Dubwool? It does not, but they're not going to throw anything, allowing me to go for a superpower here as well. And this will at least put them into Rock Slide range for sure, and this Rock Slide is going to come through here and wins us this game. Probopass, very cool Pokemon. Honestly, it's kind of the MVP here. It's honestly so underrated, this Pokemon, because like everybody is like, okay, there's no Bastion around, there's no Steel types around, so a lot of Flying type Pokemon are around, and this is really good for this one. Here we're going to encounter a Lurantis. So it's basically the best alternative for the Chesnaught. I'm going to shield up the first move, and sadly they're going to have a Charizard in the back. But we don't run Rock Throw here, which would have been really good. Maybe Rock Throw is actually better for this Pokemon, but then you have to use Magnet Bomb as well. Because, yeah, like you will never really get to a Zapkin with a Rock Throw. But here we're going to see that at least they're going to be forced to go for 2 Blast Burns in order to knock me out, while I also got a shield from the opponent, which is fairly decent. Now I can go to my Drapion, which will be able to go for an Awkward Tail, which immediately going to knock out the opponent's Charizard here right now. and allowing me to now have a hopefully decent time against the opponent's Dugong. And this is going to be a little bit of an awkward one, because Dugong going to be fairly strong against me right now. And of course, Drillrun going to knock me out here, but I can snipe them here right now with my Chesnaught, and this is going to get, of course, shielded here, and it's going to be a tough one to still win this game. But let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the Icy one coming through here, and we're going to get out the Lurantis. There is no real way to win this game here right now, right? Yeah, we are forced to debuff ourselves here right now. They are going to go for their own superpower. That's going to knock me out. Now they have still a lot of health here left. We have only our Drapion, which is already close to the red health, and we can farm them all the way down. And this is all we needed, because like this, we're going to be able to go for 2 crunches, and those crunches is everything we need to knock out the opponent's Dugong, and this is going to be a good game again. So, again, Drapion is a really strong save swap in the current meta as well. It is a really good one. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have Chesnaught against Tapu Fini, a very great lead for us, but that does not mean anything if they swap out into a Dugong. Yeah, that's kind of an awkward one. Dugong is going to be, of course, a little bit of a tough one. We're going to be able to get a shield already. I try to get both shields from the opponent here, and then most likely swap into my good friend, the Probopass. So we're going to be able to go for a superpower here right now against the opponent. They're most likely going to shield this move up here, and I can at least go ahead and go into my Probopass. Yes, they're going to go for a double super effective drill run here right now, but I feel like I can survive that one. And I do survive this one, and I can still go for one Rock Slide. This should definitely knock them out here, right? Stab, super effective. Nope, it does not. And that's kind of awkward, because now they can farm me all the way down. I can at least go for another charge move here, but it really depends now on what they have in the bag to win this game here for me. I will be able to at least go into my Chesnaught again, and maybe I actually should not go ahead and go for the Frenzy Plant, but rather go for the Superpower in this scenario, but I still opt to go for the Frenzy Plant instead, which will be able to knock them out, of course, but they're going to have a Mandibuzz in the back, and I'm kind of forced to go for the Superpower. I should have went for one more fast move here. That was kind of stupid by me, and this actually going to come and hurt me later on. As you're going to see right now, I was able to catch a foul play here onto my Drapion. Interesting that I went for the foul play here. Of course, I know that this is also going to knock out my other Pokemon, and that I didn't know what I had in the back, so it's the better move to go for. But Aerial Ace is in the range where it can knock me out already, which is not really ideal. As you're going to see now that they're going to go ahead and go into the Dugong, and I should have just farmed him down here. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be able to farm down there, but I didn't, and that was kind of what killed me the game here, because now the opponent is playing super nice. Like, this player, by the way, is a really good player that is at a ton of tournaments. But, yeah, this is sadly now not enough to knock them out still, because we're still missing one fast move here. And, yeah, if I farmed on the Dugong, I would have been fine most likely. But like this, they were able to win this game. So, good game there. Well played by them. As you're going to now encounter Dugong in the lead again. Dugong, again, is a fairly neutral matchup for us. We can go for 7 fast moves here and then go for the Frenzy Plant. This is the perfect amount of fast moves that you can do before they can get to a charge move. So, here, we're now going to be able to shield up once, but we're also going to have to now go ahead and go for the superpower to knock them out. And this is exactly what we're going to try to do here, and we're going to swap out afterwards into our good friend the Drapion. I'm going to shield here because it's very likely the drill run, right? Guess not. This is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, as we can now at least go ahead and go for the crunch. This crunch is going to get the defense drop. No, it does not. And they can still go for the drill run right now after they baited me. Like, if they didn't go for the icy wind, I would have been able to just knock them out with one crunch. So you see already why it was such a pain that they went for the bait there. And like this, they're going to have a Dedenne now against me, and this is going to be actually a little bit tricky because we don't run anything to really hit them. And yeah, honestly, they will be able to most likely win this final game here as well because of the bait of, yeah, the Dugong. If they didn't bait with the Dugong there, I would have been definitely able to win this game for sure. But like this, we are in such a bad spot right now that I don't really think that we're going to come back from this. But we're still at least going to be able to go for some Zapcans against the opponent. But you know already, the Dedenne has a ton of energy, like a ton of energy. And like this, there is not a lot that we can do here, especially as the opponent gets another fast move here, charge move here as well with the Chesnaught. And they're going to snipe me here with the Dedenne. One discharge is all they need. And now I have to try to get to the Frenzy Plant, which I'm not going to be able to. So, good game there. Well played by the opponent. The bait was what won them the game. So, yeah, this is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And I hope I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.